What has made Wayne an extraordinary person is that he had the innate capacity to communicate with and identify ordinary person in whom he saw potentiality to bring about the vision and idealism to work for a better world. I met him at first at UN headquarters. During the field trip, I was a graduate student then, and I was getting bored with listening to rather uninspiring, typical bureaucratic speakers giving lectures about the virtue of UN. And then suddenly, the last speaker, I was taken in by the sort of body language and disposition. He was sort of starting talking in my language and talking to me. So I apparently asked a question. I don't even remember to this day what I asked him about. He liked my question, and in his usual way, he didn't know me. He just invited me to come and visit his office the next day. I was 27 years old, graduate student, and UN official is inviting me to his office, so I was pretty impressed. So I went in there in a friendly Wayne's way. Well, fate would have it. I went to Geneva as an intern to work for United Nations Student Association. And so we become neighbors. And it's extraordinary to me. Ever since our first encounter, he had always taken a personal interest in me and what I was doing and my career, and even persuaded reluctant UN management to recruit me, young sort of self-claimed radical activist, to take charge of one of his pet projects called Youth and Student Coalitions for Development, with the objective of creating greater interest among young people and mobilizing young people, therefore people, and interest in international cooperation and sustainable development. As a most creative, effective communicator on the subject of global sustainable development, he conceived, created a tabloid newspaper called Development Forum. The first ever publication free from sort of bureaucratic constraints by United Nations. It's pretty revolutionary. It's first, I would say, a UN publication which hasn't gone through censorship by the member states. That's the genesis of all the tabloid he has published since. I was privileged to be a part of the team. I could go on talking 5 hours about what happened, but just to give you some anecdotal stories that I have gone through. I was serving as NGO liaison officer under Wayne at the Stockholm conference. Ostensibly, I was a radical student. There were about 2,000 to 3,000 radical students and young activists sort of camping out. And so we were trying to find a way of, or using the energy of young people to contribute. Actually, there was a fear those young people might disrupt the conferences. So we ended up helping young people to mount a sort of giant model of a whale marching downtown Stockholm. That actually led to moratorium of hunting of whales. In fact, subsequently, 2 years later, International Whaling Commission has indeed imposed 10-year moratorium on hunting of whales. Another anecdote or story, which we are of interest to you, I'm the only person who spent overnight at the hotel room together with Margaret Mead, noted anthropologist, and Dame Barbara Ward Jackson, leading international development scholar. In fact, I was, of course, on behalf of Wayne, assisting them in drafting an NGO resolution at the Stockholm conference. I could go on talking about this, but I just wanted to tell you personally, I cannot imagine how my life would have turned out without my relationship. And without him, I never would have joined the UN, had a career that followed. Without Wayne, I never would have married Marisha. And without Wayne, I would never have the life that I had. So as you can see, Wayne was more than just my mentor and friend. He, in fact, created a world in which I have lived, and with God's blessing, I will still live today. I want to thank Diva and the boys for allowing me to share some anecdotal stories of my life with Wayne. Thank you so much.